this is the part 2 to my P1025 issue with my Porsche Macan SUV. Not a good update. I didn't want to make this video because I hate showing my flaws, and if you're watching this video, sorry that you're having this problem. I had a 2015 Porsche Macan S. I bought it as my daily driver. A lot of people who watch the channel know that I often have more than one Porsche car, and I thought it was the perfect trifecta to my situation. I, in the previous video, got information from Renlist that the issue with the P1025 was the sensor on the manifold, the low pressure sensor. And I took the manifold apart, replaced the sensor, and it made no difference on the car after a few days of driving it. The issue that I ran across is a Porsche Macan was believed to be an Audi product, and it is not an Audi in any way, shape, or form. Because the car was a daily driven car, I wanted it to be running good. I have a little boy, and so most likely you have a Macan because you have a family or you have other people you need to take around, and when the car is having issues, it causes undue stress. I took the car to a well-respected Audi dealer, independent Audi repair shop nearby me, and they said their computer, which can talk to any Volkswagen Audi, could not talk to the Macan. And so that took me down a different road. And then I took it to a place that supposedly works on Macans, but they couldn't diagnose the issue as well. And then I had a third place I was going to take the car to because I needed help figuring it out. And I had a guess of what it was. And we're going to get to that. Sorry, I'm telling you too much background story, but you just have to bear with me. So it was causing me undue stress to have this car with this recurring check engine light, and I was afraid I'd be stuck on the side of the road or something else because the issue was sporadic active, low pressure fuel readings. And the car seemed to drive just fine. Okay, so it was one of those things like something is weird but not weird, but I could have kept driving it. And I did. I actually put a few thousand miles on it, driving it like that. And a friend of mine had an independent mechanic who was going to help me, and he said most likely it's the fuel pump. And so I tried to do some research on that, and they said that is a possibility that it could be. It could just be the screen. There's a cartridge. And I do remember a few months back, like immediately before the car started acting up, that I went to a shady gas station, and I bought premium fuel there. I didn't think anything of it, but almost the next day, the car started having this issue, and I'd had the car for, 9 months without any issue. But the car had cost me a lot of money to keep it running. It had the emissions issue that I wanted to fix, which was thousands of dollars. And so, which was sad because no one could figure it out. I'd gone through the same run of running through places. And so, finally I gave up, and I said, you know what, I'm just going to pay the money and I'm going to have the dealer fix it because the dealer was able to fix the emissions issue, and I trust the dealer on fixing it. It's just they're so expensive now. I don't know what happened when they changed ownership. They raised their rates, and I used to think they were the most expensive place in town, but it turns out Beverly Hills Porsche is much more, $400 an hour. So I was sad, but I was like, you know what, I'm just going to pay. I want to get it fixed right because it's my daily driver that I take with my son, and I would hate to be stuck on the side of the road, not able to do all these things that I want to do, that we're paying for all these activities for my son to do. And it's not that thing. So I paid for the Porsche dealer to fix it. And what was it? It was the fuel pump. And now something that I was confused about is I know it's an in-tank, low-pressure fuel pump, but I didn't know where you access it from. And it was very hard for me to get information. And so hopefully I can help you to let you know that the fuel pump sits under the rear seat of the car. There's a special tool you need to buy, which you can buy, it's not very expensive, to undo or turn, or you could be kind of creative and just use a screwdriver and a hammer and spin it. And then it's a whole assembly. Now, when I first started looking it up, the price of the fuel pump was about $600, and it's possible the screen might have just needed to be cleaned, because I talked to a fourth mechanic who I trust, but he doesn't do Porsches, he does BMWs. He says, yeah, electric fuel pumps are either they work or they don't work, so it's most likely clogged. I'm like, well, now, you're telling me. And he said he could have done it, but I didn't bother him about it. So that's on me. See, this video's getting long. So the P1025 is going to be most likely not the regulator that I thought it was, which I got from Renlist. It is the low pressure fuel pump. And sadly, I ended up paying twice as much for the fuel pump. It was $1,200, and I was mad, and I went back to the dealer. And I said, why is it so much? I could buy it myself for $1,000 now, because they used to be $500, but tariffs have made everything expensive. So thank you, Donald Trump. While I think some things you do are awesome, things you do just suck, especially for my particular hobby. And I'm not a political person in any way, shape, or form because I'm not knowledgeable enough to make an argument one way or the other. So that's what it was. It was the low pressure fuel pump that was causing the P1025. Now, I paid almost $3,000 at the dealership to get it fixed. Super sad. And because that cost me $3,000, and I've owned crappy cars or maybe were reliable for less than that, I got the car professionally detailed, made it look awesome, and I sold it. So I got it fixed, and I sold it. And I hope the new guy's having a wonderful time with it, and it's not costing him $10,000, $15,000 a year to run, because that's what it had cost me in less than a year. I bought the car for $15,000, put 12 and a half into it in repairs of stupid shit, and I ended up selling it for $15,000 with only 63,000 miles on it. So I had bad luck with it. I sold it. I bought the little Hyundai, which people who watch the channel know, and that's the story of the P1025 Porsche Macan issue. And sadly, if I had better luck on taking it to a independent mechanic shop that understood the car, I probably would have got it fixed for a lot less and would still own the car, because I really enjoyed the Porsche Macan. It is quick, comfortable. It was the right size for a little SUV. It was just big enough to hold a bunch of groceries, held 4 people comfortably. I'm not that big. I'm only 5'8", 5'9", 160 pounds, so I fit in the car wonderfully. You know, my friend Frank, who's 6'4", 290 or 300, he fit in the car, just the seat had to be back, and whoever sat behind him had to be, you know, more aware of where their legs were. So I hope this video helps someone who is trying to diagnose the P1025. Try and find the fuel pump through a third party and buy that wrench. I'll try and put all those pictures in there if I hadn't already. And that's what that is. So it's not the video I want to make. That's why I hesitated on making this video. But I looked today, and like 5 people last night watched the other video, and I was like, oh man, I'm not giving them good information. So this video is for you people who have recently watched the other one. It is not the manifold, but hey, that other video helps you learn how to take the manifold off. I feel I documented that well. I just wish it fixed the car. It's the low pressure fuel pump. I couldn't find a video on YouTube to explain how to take the bench out and where the fuel pump is and to remove it. It is similar to a Tiguan, but it's not the same car. So I hope that helps you. Sorry it's not the most helpful video, but I want to at least have closure to my Porsche Macan, which I sold. And I would buy another one in the future, but I'd probably buy a new one or lease a new one, and that would be my plan. I spent the last year trying to race my Porsche 911 Turbo in the mainland, and that's what most of the videos are this year. And I'm happy to say my Porsche 991.1, which I've had for like 9 years, has never broken down, never had any issues. The few issues it has, which was the little struts burned out, that's actually a popular video. And then learning how to program the lighter for a charger so that if the power goes out, the car will resume trickle charging and making sure that the battery is 100%. Yeah, that's it. And, you know, follow along, because I do lots of cruises in Hawaii. I run a little car club. We do little meetups every now and then, and we make little early morning dashes to look at the ocean. So until the next one, aloha. Thank you.